Hey there, live on Periscope, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, yay, 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 yay. Long time no see. See, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm always online. That's the beauty of the internet. It's just so much fun. I can't but not be on here. And tonight's super special because we're going to be talking about storytelling. Woo! So, all people who are looking for better ways to communicate as a media person, as a blogger, as a vlogger, also, even just thinking about your own career, right? How can you be better at storytelling and explaining what you've done, why you did what you did, the career choices you made? Storytelling is super, super, super important. And I'm excited to be here. So, we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. I just like to get on a little bit early just because, I just like promptness. I think it's important. So, what I ask for you to do is definitely grab some paper, some pen. If you're old school like me, if not, get your tablet, get your laptop. Make sure you have something that you can take notes with. And then we're going to get started in a couple and invite your friends, guys. If you have friends, family members that you feel could benefit from this conversation, bring them on in. Let's talk about it. We're talking about storytelling, 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 storytelling. So this is, like I said, something that's relevant for content creators. This is relevant for your career. I don't know. Do you have a business or a product or service you're selling? I suspect the art of storytelling is critical to you being able to make more money. Who wants to make more money? Money, 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 money. So let's get it popping. All right. So couple of minutes. If you have questions in advance of that, feel free to put them on in the comments. I'm here on Periscope. I'm here on Facebook. I'm here on YouTube. So 3 platforms all at once. You got Tasha. Let's do this, guys. All right. So I wish whenever I do these, I never think to like create a playlist. I need to do that so that I can, definitely have some music that's like in the background. Right. Recently, I've been listening to like the same song over and over and over again, which is nothing new for me. I like things where I know the outcome over and over and over again. So I love like watching the same old movie and listening to the same old playlist, especially if you curate something that's like pretty darn awesome, which as a curator, I think I have a pretty good grasp of what I like and what's hot and what's popping. So, I need to do that. So someone remind me in the comments. That'd be great, actually. And a couple more minutes before we get started. I'm like so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, can we go? Can we go? Can we do this? Like, but it's a couple minutes. So I will hold my horses and play my patience fiddle and wait around. But like I said, if before we get started, if you have questions for me about previous conversations I've had, if you have questions about what to expect tonight, let me know. If you can't make all of tonight and you can only give me like 5 minutes of your time and you're like, okay, Tasha, summarize, summarize, let me know. And I'm happy to do that before we officially get started. But the time is ticking, the clock is going. So we are going to be starting soon. So I hope you can stay with me for the entirety of the program. That way you get the full offer and you get the full Monty of really how do you master the art of storytelling. I don't think that's something that can be rushed, guys, unless that's your thing. Like there are some platforms that I find very interesting. This like read a book in 5 minutes and like, this kind of like fast paced to certain things. Not all things I think work that well, but I think it's an interesting approach for some content if you're trying to consume something very dense in a very short time. Interesting things that are going on with that. What else is new, guys? I'd love updates on people who are working on any of the things that I've covered previously this month, like the 7-day career makeover. If you took any of my advice and you felt like you had some success, please give me those live testimonials here on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. That would brighten my day. And now it's time. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Guys, hello, good evening, good morning, good wherever you are in this world. I'm so glad that you could make it for How to Master the Art of Storytelling. This is a program that I've done at the 5th annual Women on the Rise Forum and Expo. So I was like, oh, I need to do this as well as a live for my Dressing Room 8 fam. So I'm excited to be talking about it. I'm going to be talking about a couple of new things that I didn't talk about last year, which is going to be fun, fun, fun. Please stay for the entirety of the program because, like I said, you don't want to miss any minute of this. And who am I? Who the heck am I, right? If you don't know me, my name's Natasha Nurse. I am the coach, speaker, and content creator behind Dressing Room 8, a coaching and consulting platform. It is designed to teach women how to think with clarity, how to dress with confidence, how to live with purpose. As a coach, I work with women and men primarily on lifestyle and entrepreneurship and really strategy for kind of kicking yourself in the butt to get shit going, to make it happen, right? And so I've worked with people on getting jobs, work with people on how do you present better, how do you interview better, how do you create a strategy for a side hustle, a business, ... I pretty much do a lot of really cool things, and I'm blessed and thankful. And so if you have any questions about who I am or what I do after the program, happy to stay on and chat with you about that. But if not, let's get into what we have to do. But first we have to do rules, right? Because I'm a Virgo. I like rules. I like regulation. So it's kind of my thing. So let's get some rules straight. First of all, this is a conversation. So as I'm talking, if you're like, wait a minute, Natasha, wait a minute. You have questions? I have answers. Give them to me, baby. Give them to me. So let's get that popping. I want that to be crystal clear. If you have questions, don't hold them to yourself. Please come on in, put them in the comments. Also, if you are a person who likes to take notes, I think this would be the time to get some pen and paper or get a tablet, get your laptop, get something so you can take notes so that you're not like, wait, what was that she said? Take some notes, invest some time and energy in and really thinking thoughtfully about the content that's going to be talked about tonight. Thank you for the hearts on Periscope. We'll see if I can get some fellow love on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see. Thank you. And then, of course, tag your friends. I don't want to be your dirty little secret. Come on in. Tag 2 people that you feel could benefit from the conversation of storytelling. And if so, I'm happy to, shout them out if they come on the platform as well and just, spread the word, guys. So with that, I think it's time to get started. Why is storytelling important? I'm going to share my thoughts. If you have something to add to it, put it in the comments. First of all, storytelling is critical for a couple of things. I'm going to go through my notes and talk about it now. First, so many of us want to be better communicators, whether it's through writing, whether it's through video, whether it's through blogging, vlogging, whatever the medium of choice. We want to be better communicators. Why? Because we are often telling a story. We're selling our products. We're selling our businesses, our services. We are trying to attract something, build awareness around something. Communication is the key to what? How we engage with each other. So the better that you can get at storytelling, the better communicator you become, the better business person you become. Now, isn't that interesting? Better business means better outcomes for money, for building relationships, for creating opportunities. Hello. Also, who here is a speaker like me? Are you a speaker, any speaker on any of my platforms that I'm on? If you're a speaker, doesn't storytelling help? Heck yeah, right? If you're doing a speech, if you're doing a workshop, if you're doing a training, a workshop, it's important to be able to articulate what you're saying, to get people engaged, to get people interested in what the heck's going on. Otherwise, they're going to be out of there mentally or physically. We don't want people to check out on us. That's sad. That makes me cry. Let's not make Tasha cry, right? Like, come on. Let's get people involved. Next, if you are building a platform, I think storytelling is a really good way to create raving fans. And what do raving fans do? They share your content without even being asked, because they're so enamored by what you're saying, what you're doing, how you're making them feel, that they're like, oh my God, love you, love you, love you, right? Why do we have people on television for 17 seasons, 25 seasons, right? You know who I'm talking about. These people have raving fans. It's because of the type of storytelling that they're offering to the world that people can't get enough of. It's similar to chocolate, right? How many people love chocolate? Chocolate has a fabulous PR agent, right? It's just literally the product sells itself. Different companies do better, banging jobs at making better versions of it. But at the end of the day, the storytelling is through the through the deliciousness of the product itself, right? So we want to be essentially virtual chocolate. We want to be, or Khalil, my hubby who's watching right now, sexual chocolate from Coming to America, right? Like we want to be so memorable that people just can't get enough of us. And that really comes through storytelling. So that's another really good thing. And then recently I've been doing content around career, around boosting your career, around interviewing better, about presenting yourself better. So storytelling helps with what? If you're going on an interview this week, next week, this month, doesn't it help the idea that if you would be able to clearly articulate why you started this job, why you left this job, why you went to this job, why there's a gap in that, right? Like being able to look at the total picture, figure out who are you as a potential employee and why you are the right candidate for this position really comes down to storytelling. So storytelling is for personal branding, it's for business development, it's also for your career. Those are the main areas that it's helping. And I don't know, that sounds like everything to me. Okay, then. So you're like, all right, Tasha, I get it. It's important. Okay. Now, what's the deal? What are the keys that I need to know? All right, you asked, I got the answer. Let's do this. First, I like to start with the simple thing that we all learned in elementary school. What is that? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. The 5 W's and the H. I say this to you, not because you have to do it in that order. You can play around with the order. You can play around with the timeline. The more you do, the more creative a storyteller you are. But what I think that I see that is missing sometimes, whether we're talking about movies, whether we're talking about conversations, whether we're talking about interviews, whether we're talking about blogs, etc., is people aren't giving people or their audience rather, the context of the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And so when we're missing these elements, what does that make our audience want to do? A, they can check out because they're like, I don't understand what's happening. Okay, bye. Right? Like our attention span, 2 seconds, in and out. Like we got to capture you. Like either my red lips caught you or they didn't, right? Like I gotta capture you or you're just like, peace out. It's been real. So we gotta capture people. And one of the best ways to do that is by making people understand that whether they join at the beginning, the middle, the end, that ultimately you're gonna understand what's happening and it's gonna be good. Khalil says, hello, looking good on YouTube. Hello, I'm so excited. Phenomenal. Thank you, love. So the who, what, when, where, why. All right. So, and how. If that is not clear to you, if you're like, wait a minute, let's do an example, put that in the comments on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. Let me know, and we can work through an example specifically for that. But that's the basics. We have to have a complete story. And what you can think of is when you are creating your story, when you're sharing your story, think of it as a movie. If someone were to walk in the beginning or middle or end, would it be clear to them what the hell they're watching? If not, then you are not doing enough of a holistic job of sharing your story. So even when you are in the middle of sharing something, what can you do? You can always recap the first part. You can give people the context. Okay, guys, we are talking about this. Now we are, right? Like you can lead them along, give the breadcrumbs to them along the way so that no one feels lost, so that no one feels like they are not a part of the conversation. Because if they're not a part of the conversation, what are they doing? Check out. They don't care. That's it, right? So we don't want people to check out. We want you to stay. So who, what, when, where, why, and how. Next, your purpose for what you're saying and what you're doing needs to match the audience needs. So for instance, Dressing Roommate is what? It's a coaching and consulting platform. I am talking about lifestyle, career, mindset. Those are the things that I cover on my platform. So if I were to start doing makeup, if I were to start doing a live around, let's see, sports fanatics, right? Or sports, some type of fetish or something. Is that on brand with what the Dressing Roommate platform is? No. So would my fans really appreciate a blog, a video, a live on something like that? Probably not, because they're coming to tune into me to talk about lifestyle, to talk about career, to talk about mindset. Otherwise, they're going to be like, I'm okay. Like Tasha, I don't know, right? Like they're not gonna they're also gonna question, do I know what the heck my platform's about? Why did I write this? Why did I do a video about this? Right? You yourself have to make sure your branding is matching your audience's needs. So if you are asked to do a talk, if you are asked to do a training workshop, and they need X and you are giving Y, what's going to be the problem? We're going to have a disconnect. And what are they doing? They're checking out. They're not going to enjoy it. They're probably going to dog you because they're going to be super critical, because they're going to be like, first of all, I didn't even want to talk about that. And you did blah, 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 right? You know, everyone's got an opinion, because that's just, if you have a mouth and it speaks, or you can write, you you got an opinion, right? So it's an interesting world we live in. It's a very vocal world we live in. That's okay. Know the rules of engagement and play the hell out of the game. That's what you have to do. So your purpose for what you're doing, your purpose for your message has to match what the audience needs. If it's not, we have a disconnect. We got checkout time. No checkouts. Next, and this is important, knowing your audience. If you don't even know your audience and what they need, then what do you have to do? It's up to you to get that information. It's up to you to do some polling. It's up to you, if you're asked to do a talk, well, who are the people attending? What are the characteristics of the audience going to be, right? Try to garner as much information as you can to establish who you're going to be communicating to, because if you can get that information, if you can visualize essentially who that person is, then you can cater the conversation to them so that you are speaking to their heart, so that you are really resonating with who's in front of you. Otherwise, it's disconnect, 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 disconnect. Nobody wants that, right? It's like, you know what it is? Remember when people used to do the AOL, and it would be the dial-up, and it would be like connecting, and sometimes it would never connect. That's what's going to happen if you're having a disconnect between what you're saying and who you're speaking to. It's just, the dial-up's never going to go. It's just going to and that's the end. And like, who wants that? It's super boring. That's super frustrating. As if, right? Like, it's a clueless moment. Let's move on. Next is, we need to use beautiful language. And what do I mean by this? We need to illustrate in our stories so many times of the people that we love. And I don't necessarily do a lot of these talks, but for the ones that I do here, I think the ones that are super successful, from like, super duper coaches or public figures, they're able to illustrate in their story. When they're talking about something, it's not just like, I was driving down the road and I met Jane. It was, I was in my blue Honda, my 1999 Honda, up this really windy dirt road in the middle of Calabasas. Like, it's so detailed. Right? And why are they doing that? They're not doing that to just impress you, but they're doing that to really get you present in the moment. Because the more details you give, what happens? The more people can actually envision themselves there. Super, super cool. And what are they doing? They're check the F in, right? Like, they're in it. They're like, yeah, God, like, I can feel the heat. Like, oh man, that wind through my hair back. Like, it can, depending on how illustrative a person can be with the words they're using, you can really feel like you were right there, right? And so that's something to really think about. If you really want to master the art of storytelling, you got to level up your vocab, right? And it's not about like always like fancy words. Like, I was just heard the word pontificate, and I was like, ooh, delicious pontificate. Need to use that tomorrow. Like, but it can be illustrative words, right? The deep maroon red car went off of the slanted road, right? Like, it doesn't have to be really in-depth kind of vocab, but it needs to be descriptive in nature. It needs to illustrate a point, and you need to be mindful about how much illustration we're using, right? Because is this like a narrative podcast, or is this like a, you're trying to get across a message? Like, it has to match the tone and branding for whichever you're discussing, but ultimately it's going to further the point. You're going to resonate more with people, and it's going to take you to the next point that I have, which is focus on the feelings involved, right? We as speakers, we as communicators, we as content creators, we as potential people looking for jobs, right? Whatever category you fall within, and we sometimes as human beings, we fall within multiple categories, which is cool. That's what makes you human. That's what makes you rich and diverse. Love it. We need to remember the feelings that we need to invoke in the person that we're speaking to. Why do I say this? Because if you can put yourself in that person's shoes, you can what? You can further resonate with them. If you are looking, and it's simple, right? When you were a kid and you wanted your mom or dad or guardian, whoever was caring for you, to feel for you, what did you do? You started tearing, you started pouting, and he said, and she never, right? And why do we do this? Because we're upset, but we're also trying to invoke sympathy and empathy from whoever we're talking about. So now as adults, do we necessarily communicate like that? Like, probably not. I don't know. I don't know your flow, right? But at the end of the day, most likely you're not, right? Like little kids do. But what can we do? We can use our words. We can emphasize certain things more, de-emphasize other things. We can pay attention to diction. We can focus on storytelling to get people to be like, oh, good Lord, right? Like, how could that happen? Oh my God, yes, I'll support your cause. Opening up my wallet today, right? Like, if that's what you want, if you want people to just be like, oh, just so enthralled with what you're saying, then you got to focus on every single word that you're expressing, because that's what's going to get people to feel something. And we want people to feel something, right? Why do we love some of the actors that are famed about and stars in media? Because when they say words, it's not just right, Look at Titanic, right? One of my favorite movies. Jack in the last scene, right? Like, so much, passion and heart in what he was saying, what he was getting across to Rose. And it wasn't hard words. It wasn't like something magnificent, but it was how he said it that just spoke right into my heart and into millions of others, if not billions of other hearts. That's what I'm talking about. That's storytelling. It's not just always what we're saying, it's how we're saying it and what feelings we're invoking. So right now, I'd also love to know, what feelings am I invoking in you on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube? What am I making you feel like? Am I making you feel like you can do this, that you can conquer storytelling? If not, don't check out on me. Not yet. We have more. Don't worry. I know that some of this sometimes may feel overwhelming, because as a content creator, you're always working on something. So you're like, okay, Tasha, I know. Yes, but it matters, because it's going to make your job easier, right? And so when we're working on things, we want to work harder or smarter. We want to work smarter. So really spending time on this. I'm not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to do something better so that you can work less each and every time. The better you get at storytelling, the more your message will resonate. Meaning you might have to post one time less this week, or you might have to do one less pitch, because every pitch you're hitting, you're like, oh crap, like I'm getting more deals, I'm closing more opportunities, I'm really making this happen, because you really paid attention to the diction, to what you were saying, how you were saying it, and how you're making your audience feel. All right, so I hope that's really clear to you. If not, put it in the comments. Thank you, babies. All right, medium matters. What do I matter by that? No, I'm not talking about people who speak to the dead or spirits. Nope. They definitely are focused on storytelling for sure, right? But I'm talking about the medium for which you're sharing your message. So if you are interviewing and we're talking about storytelling, we're talking about it first on the phone interview or the Skype interview, right? If we're talking to content creators, if I'm talking to you right now, medium of choice, meaning, is this a blog? Is this a vlog? Is this a podcast? How are you sharing the message? That's what I mean by medium matters. So when we think about storytelling, you want to think about and choose to your strength, play to your strength, right? So if you are like me and you're like, I'm a peacock, I love to talk, hello, then video would probably be a good choice for you, because you're going to be able to shine. You're not going to sit and be stiff and be uncomfortable, right? That's not, everyone can work through everything. I do believe, I support Marie Forleo on Everything's Figure Outable. Shout out to her and her new book. Congratulations, boo. But I'm talking to, if we're want to like tangibly work on this today, like this is something you want to be at better today, starting today, then the number one thing you'd want to do is to pick your medium of choice. Where are you strongest at? So some of you are phenomenal freaking writers, right? So blogging would be where that would be a great, or web content would be a great way for you to storytell and really focus on that. For those of you who are like me, who enjoy video, I mean, I love writing as well. Obviously, I have a blog. I love been writing as a child, but I also love video because it's easier for me to give an orientation, give a webinar, give a training, and it doesn't really stress me out as much as, say, some other people I know. So video would be a good format for you if you can do what we need to do on film. So you just have to pick your choice, right? And for some of you as well, I also happen to be a podcaster on a separate platform that I built with my husband. And, people say what? They enjoy my voice, right? So if you have a really good way of connecting with people from just your voice, from people just hearing your voice, and you're like, ooh, yes, I like that, right? Then that would be your medium of choice, and that's how you would rock. And guess what? If you're multidimensional, then what? You can storytell on multiple mediums, right? And you can really try to rock it on multiple mediums. But if you're like, I need to do something today to be better today, then number one would be play to your strengths and pick the medium of choice that you perform the best at and focus on that as your storytelling platform. And then, of course, branch out and expand so that you're not just focusing on one thing, but you are expanding the message on multiple platforms at the same time. Thus, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. Gotcha, guys. There. Next, engaging your audience, right? So I ask you questions. Why? Because I want you to talk to me. The more likely that you talk to me, the more likely this will be more relevant and more interesting to you. And the same applies to you. If you're doing a talk, if you're doing a training, if you're doing a workshop, if you're doing an interview, whenever you have the opportunity to engage the other person, and it's not just a monologue, right? Hamlet is well over. The Shakespearean days have come and gone. You've got to talk with people, not at people, right? So I love to do content, and I love to have people talk back to me. I do a lot of talking. I don't mind it, right? It's kind of my thing. But ultimately, the more that people can engage with you, the more that they're going to think about what they said, focus on what they said to you, how you made them feel, and then ... It's going to continue on to something else. They might start to follow you. They might start to write to you. They might want to start business with you, right? It really, the engagement piece is how you start to build relationships online, in person, and beyond. So there. And then, of course, and this is important, you'll find lots of articles about this. I know I have in the past. We have to end with a grand finale. So meaning at the end of your programs, you don't really just want to be like, do you have questions, right? Like, because is that really like a bam, like a woo, right? No. If you've listened to any superstar, any super coach, they usually have this build up, right? And it's building, 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 building. And then at the end, it's like a drop the mic situation. And you're like, oh, and it's like mind blown, right? Like it's this whole thing. It's because it makes the story overall so much more momentous. So we really want to build up within the communication to then bam, like we ended, right? And then that's it. So that's really important. And if that's something that you're struggling with, don't worry, stay tuned. I have an offer. You're going to want it. So stay with me. That's it. So let me just do a quick recap for you so that you have it. And if you're taking notes, here we go. There were 8 things that you need to do to master the art of storytelling at minimum. Of course, you can always add to this list. If I were to do this program again next year, I'm sure I could add 2 more things to talk about. At bare minimum, there are 8 things we need to do. Focus on making sure we have the 5 W's and the H in each conversation we're having. That way there's context, there's relatability, there's points of reference for people. Next, your purpose for what you're saying, what you're doing needs to match the audience's needs. Third, know your audience. Who the heck are you talking to, right? Like if I was talking to a bunch of Mormons about, sexual deviance, like, is that something they really want to hear about? Maybe not, right? Like, or if I was talking to a bunch of tattoo artists about like my passion for Hello Kitty. Like, is that something they really give a shit about? Probably not. So like really matching what you're saying to who you're speaking to and really getting an understanding of what they need from you in that moment. Illustrate your story. Use descriptive words. That's the fourth point. You really want to make sure that we're going beyond just I was traveling from X to Y, but it was hot, it was sweaty, I had nothing, I had $5 in my pocket. Give people the reality for which you were living. It's going to make it resonate and stick that much more. Next point, focus on the feelings you're invoking in the audience, right? So it's more than just what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, how you're making them feel. Think Titanic, right? Jack and Rose, think about it. Think about the feelings that went on with that. Choose the medium that you are best at, meaning play to your strengths. That's number 6, meaning are you video? Are you la la la? Are you the writer? Are you the podcaster? Is your voice just oh so delicious? Think about the mediums of choice and play to your strength and start there and then expand thereon. Engage your audience, right? This is not Hamlet. Think no Shakespeare. Absolutely not. No, no, no. I will not have it. Absolutely not. Engage. Ask a goddamn question. Just simply ask a question, guys. It's not that hard. Ask like 3 to 4 questions every time you're talking. Get people, hyped up, involved in the whole process. And then end with a bang. Grand finale. Grand finale. Maybe you sing, maybe you don't. Depends on your style of communication. But we got to end with a bang. So if that is clear, just making sure I didn't rub makeup all over myself, we're going to go to the next points, right? Because I didn't end there. Of course not. Of course not. My storytelling words of wisdom as we wrap up. So we'll see how fast I can get through this. This is a learned art, guys. No one is born seasoned at anything. I want you to understand that, and I want that to stick in your head because so many times people will frustrate you and really question whether you can do something. And of course, you have to say, F them. Peace out. You're not for me, you're against me. And keep it moving, right? Like Creed, nope, box through that and move on. Because at the end of the day, each of us were what? Crying, incompetent, incapable individuals who needed diapers and hugs and kisses and pampers and everything. We were taught everything. So if you are saying to yourself, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if storytelling's for me, call bullshit on yourself. Okay? This is learned. This is not something you have to wake up knowing to do because no one did. Everyone learned. You watch videos, you tune into this by merely coming into this program today, whether you're watching this on the live or on the replay. You are showing to yourself that, you know what? I can do this. I can learn. You're freaking awesome, guys. Just learn and execute. Okay. But this is learned and everyone can do this. It's just a matter of getting the practical steps and executing, auditing, executing, auditing. Next, self-auditing is what? How we improve. So how many people have ever heard and or you yourself have said, oh no, I can't watch myself on video. Oh, no. So, that's an interesting statement because what? If you watch yourself on video, what can you learn? You can learn the things that you're doing. So I, for instance, will tell you, something I constantly have to work at is what? I have to make better eye contact with people. All my life, as a child, I really didn't like to make eye contact. I used to find it too intimate and just kind of nerve-wracking. My husband knows. I'm just it's too intimate. I can't. But I have learned since that the better eye contact you make, the better chance you have of someone taking you seriously, of having someone feel like they are respected in that moment for making you come off as more of a professional. Is it professional to talk to someone who is doing this the entire time? Absolutely not. Right? Make eye contact. Make eye contact. So you got to self-audit because if you go on and you watch your video and you know what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to say, if you pay attention to the Dressing Room platform, which is Nation. How many people get on a video, do a program, and Nation. I'm gonna make a song about Nation and why we don't need to join it. But if people simply watched videos, played their audio from their podcast, they would recognize how many different times they were doing something. I do what? My vocal filler of choice is like. I watched too many California films, and it has been embedded in my architecture structure of how I formulate statements. Like, but I don't mind it, so I'm not freaking changing it. But if someone were to say to me, it is getting in the way of obviously the learning, the training, the messaging that I'm trying to get across, I would obviously change it. However, that's not where I'm at today, so I'm not changing it. But we got to self-audit, guys. We have to get over this idea of not wanting to see yourself. First of all, you're amazing. So yes, you should look at videos and pictures and consume you, because if you can't love yourself, then how can you ever expect to be loved and respected and treated well in this world? Start from the homie, guys, yourself. Got to be your number one homie before you can have other homies. So we got to do that. We got to watch videos. We got to watch and listen to ourselves and say, I could have said this differently. I could have done this differently, right? All of that good stuff. Next, you can create opportunities for yourself to speak. So a lot of times people say, well, I want to be a speaker. And my first question is, well, what are you doing? Oh, well, I've never looked into it. Oh, okay. So you don't want to do it, because when you want to do something, you bloody well do it. When you need to shower, you somehow find a shower. When you need to use the bathroom, you somehow find a toilet. So when you want to do something in this world, you absolutely will make it happen. That is the beauty of being a human being. We are one of the most powerful creatures on the planet, if not the most powerful, right? From a mental and manifesting perspective. So when you want to do something, you somehow find a way. So do not sit here 2019 going into 2020 talking the smack about, well, I want to be a speaker, but I haven't found opportunities. Every time I try, excuse you, you can come on Periscope, you can come on Facebook, you can come on YouTube, you can go on IGTV. You can make opportunities to speak and learn the craft and be better at this. There is no excuse to say, oh, no, I haven't found, no. Okay, so there's that. I want you to understand as well that preparation is more powerful than your nerves. A lot of people get what? They get nervous about public speaking or speaking generally. Cut the crap, write your notes out. Not every speaker speaks with notes. And if you want to speak with notes, I enjoy speaking with notes. I don't do it all the time, but most of the time I love to do it because I find it's helpful. It's helpful to just have kind of that inner guide that you've created for yourself to keep using and moving forward with. I have a whole pretty binder, like it's a whole thing that I do. But at the end of the day, preparation is how you're going to overcome those nerves. Every time you do more talking, it gets a little bit easier. Every time you prepare for every conversation, you sound like the expert that you are. So you got to prepare. You got to prepare for the success you want and you want to manifest in your life. All right. Preparation is everything. And the next comment I have is really for people that are too hard on themselves. And that used to be me as well. I mean, it's still something I'm working on today. I can't, hide that. One setback is one moment, right? It is not a continual series of things. A lot of times we have a setback in life. We have something that doesn't go exactly how we want. And it just it replays in your mind over and over and over and over and over and over again, because human beings are what? We are addicted to negativity. So it is super easy for us to have a fallback and then say, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this for 6 months. Don't do that. One moment is one moment. Keep things in perspective. Okay? Perspective. One setback is one setback. It does not have any bearing on what's happening 5 minutes from then. We've got to keep things in perspective and really focus on what was the teachable lesson from that setback and move the F on. Move on. You can do it, guys. You can do it. One setback is one setback. We keep moving forward and we manifest the success that we deserve and we want. Next, for you to really become a master at storytelling, which is what this conversation is about, we have to what? We have to master it here, right? We have to have that story in here. We have to see the audience loving us in here. We have to see the live stream going well here. We have to hear the podcast getting lots of downloads, getting lots of subscribers here. It all begins here. Your life is the literal play out of what the frick is in here. So when we say to ourselves, oh, I'm a terrible speaker. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, no, I can't succeed at this. I don't know if I'm going to try, but all of that crap is becoming the narrative that then can play out in your life. So I plead with you, if you take nothing else from this conversation, please understand, for you to excel at life, you have to excel in your mind first. Okay. So if you say to yourself, the narrative I want for myself for 2019 going into 2020 is I will master the art of storytelling, then baby, what are you doing it here? How are you doing it here? We have to do it here first. So you're going to say to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to tell myself a story. I'm going to do my little elevator pitch in my head every morning so that when I do have to share it with other people, it is seamless. It is mag-frickin-nificent. All right. We got to start here though. Okay. And the process matters, right? So if any of you are fans of Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out to Gary V. If you ever come across this program, hello, sir. You're bomb. Love you. He says what? He says he's always winning because it's not about the win or the loss at the end. It's about the process. If you love the process, you're a winner automatically. I love that he says that because the process is that grind. The process is that hustle. The process is overcoming that internal bully. The process is shutting down the bullshit that we say to ourselves every single time so that we don't what? So that we don't have to execute because we already told ourselves what we can't, that we won't do it, that it won't work, right? All of that crap is a part of that process. So if you can love the fact that, yeah, it was hard, but you overcame it. Yeah, you wrote down notes and you didn't say any of it and you still loved it. Oh, you did the video and you hated how you looked. You hated how you sounded, but you found the way, the will, the knowledge, the momentum to keep moving forward. Baby, you are a winner. You are winning. All right. So love the process. And then my grand finale statement is what? We all have stories to tell. All right. I want you to know, again, if you take anything from this conversation today, my name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the coach, speaker, and content creator behind Dressing Room Mate. And I'm here to tell you that you are important. You have a story and the world deserves to hear it. If you want to share it, get out here and share it. Get on Facebook, get on Periscope, get on YouTube, get on Instagram, get on Pinterest, get anywhere you can share, shout it out. And share your story because we all have such rich, amazing backgrounds. And it's amazing. It's like unbelievable. It's like mind blowing. Every single time I hear someone who has overcome something, someone who has come from drug addiction, someone who's come from a domestic abuse, violence, mental issues, anything. We all have so much that human beings go through in our lives. It's remarkable. I mean, it's crazy. But we somehow make it. We're just like filled with this ability to push and move and accomplish. And you know what? We all are better people when we can hear each other's triumphs and our struggles. So please do not sit here and say, I don't have anything to say, because I'm telling you, you do. I told you, my name is Natasha Nurse. I want to hear your story. If you want to share your story and you're struggling with it, let's get to work. So what do I need you to do? If you are watching this, if you've enjoyed this program, I really would appreciate a like, a heart, all of that good stuff. If you're not following me on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, the Dressing Room Mate page and channels, please do. If you're like, I don't know the handles, go to dressingroom8.com. You can not only subscribe to all of the channels that we're on, but also you can subscribe to the blog. You can subscribe to the monthly newsletter. And most importantly, you go on a page called Schedule a Session. 30 minutes free with moi. I'm here to help you share your story. If that's something that you are struggling with, I know that we could really do some amazing work together. And again, 30 minutes with me, we can talk about strategy. We can talk about your challenges and what you need to do moving forward. Whether you work with me or not, I'm here to give you that advice. I'm here to give you that content and those resources because it matters to me. Because like I said, the world is better when we each share our story. All right. So that is an offer. That is a standing offer. Just come on in, dressingroom8.com, schedule a session. Let's share your story because I know you have something amazing to share with the world. And then after that, of course, on the page on dressingroom8.com, you'll also be able to see something called events where you'll be able to what? You'll be able to tune in to find out when I'm talking next. And I'm always talking, guys, because there's always something to talk about. It's amazing. So with that, I thank you. I appreciate you hanging with me. I appreciate you hearing my offer. Again, standing offer. So as many times as you watch this and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to her next week. Let's do this. Book me up and let's get this party started. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Now it's time for me to go, I don't know, live my life and create more stories and share more information with everyone, right? And you go do the same. So I can't wait to see you for the next program. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to say bye on each platform because I can't do it all at once. I have 2 hands and 3 platforms. So bear with me, all right? So first, I'm going to say goodbye on Periscope. It has been amazing. Bye, guys. All righty. Now, YouTube, you know I love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye. And then Facebook. It's been real, guys.